Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I wanted to try the latte makeup trend that's been going on around TikTok. Since I am doing my intro after the makeup is done, I'm going to go ahead and give you my final thoughts on it. The only thing I didn't like about it was the blush that I used. I used a darker blush than I normally use, just to kind of give it more of a bronzy and to try out a shade I've never tried before. I think it pulled my skin, or pulled my face down. I would much rather go with a pink blush. I just don't think I have the right skin tone for that shade. Other than that, I like the makeup look. I think it's very bronzy, very glowy. I think it's really cute. It got me to try things that I've never tried before. So I'd highly recommend trying it out. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my videos. Anything I use will be listed down in the description box below. If you'd like to see how I do this, then keep on watching. The palette I'm going to be using for this is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm also going to be using a bronzer because this is the latte trend and a lot of people are using bronzers as the eyeshadow to match their contour and bronziness. So I will tell you guys what bronzer I'm using when I get started. Because I wanted a good clean line, I am going to use some tape. To place my tape, I use my waterline and I use that angle that goes up towards my eyebrow. And that's how I set my tape. So that way it's going with my eye shape and I'm not like making up a line. The main shade I'm going to use is this Butter Bronzer in the Sun-Kissed bronzer. I'm using this as the main shade. I will be using other shades from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm just brushing this all over my lid and blending it out into that tape. I wasn't for sure how I wanted these shades, but I just know that I wanted to use brown to match the bronze shade. And I wanted to do a shimmer because a lot of people, when doing this trend, they do the shimmer on the inner corner and they do like a brown shimmer. And the first shimmer that I used was too gold. I didn't really like it very much, so I didn't see it because I thought it was a matte eyeshadow, but it was actually a dark shimmer. There's another dark shimmer in here that I'm going to use for like the middle to make like more of an ombre into the center. Because I'm not like a brown eyeshadow person. I don't normally do brown eyeshadows. I think it's a very basic, which I mean that's kind of what this trend is just like a natural bronzy look, or at least that's what I get from it. It's up to interpretation on whatever you think it's like. It's just really bronzy. So to me, it deserves like a brown eyeshadow. I'm not really a brown eyeshadow person, so I had to play with it a little bit to see what I like. And I still don't know if I'm a big fan of this, but I'm just kind of trusting the process because any look that I look at that is a latte trend, even on Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, it's all like bronzy brown eyeshadows with a shimmer. So I'm trying it out and I'm trusting the process. The first brown shade I'm using from the Jaclyn Hill palette is called Buns, and I'm using it with a 433 brush. And I'm just brushing this on that outer corner just to darken this outer part. To darken that a little bit more, I'm using the shade Chip with the same 433 brush. And I'm just using the back of this brush that has little product on it. So I flipped it over and I'm just blending all those shades together. The first shimmer shade that I'm using is called Hillster, I think is how it's said. It's kind of a weird name. I've never heard of that before. And I'm just using my finger because I feel like shimmers go on a bit easier with your finger. And then for the lighter shimmer, it's called Queen, and it's just like a gold. I'm using that 510 brush again. I'm just gonna blend all those shimmers together with the rest of the eyeshadow that I used. For primer, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I'm almost out, so I'm using the bottom of the pan. I'm going to be getting new stuff hopefully soon. That was so loud. I'm going to hopefully be getting new stuff here soon. My birthday's coming up in like 2 weeks. For my birthday present, I told my husband that I wanted him to take me makeup shopping so I can get some new stuff that I've been wanting to try and like new primers and stuff. So hopefully in the next like 2 or 3 weeks, I will be using some new products and I'm super excited. For concealer, I'm going to use the Maybelline Eraser Concealer in the shade 100. The main thing that I got from the latte trend is that you're using minimal makeup to try and stay as close to natural as possible, but still giving yourself like bronzy skin. So usually I use a second concealer with this Maybelline one, but I think I'm just going to stick to the Maybelline concealer. And that's because I feel like this is going to be a lighter coverage and it's not going to cover up my skin tone and my freckles as much, because that other concealer that I use is a little bit more full coverage. That's why I only use like a light amount anyways. I think just using the Maybelline will keep it less covered. I think one of the biggest things that I really like about this latte trend that's going on is, one, it's getting people to use less like product and like get more of their natural skin tone. And something else it's also doing is people with freckles, with like a lot of freckles, it's getting them to keep like showing their freckles, not covering them up. Because I have freckles, I have a lot of freckles, but I know there's people out there that have like a lot of freckles and they tend to cover them up with like a really full coverage concealer and foundation. But it just makes me sad when people cover them up, because I just think they're so pretty, and that's why I like to let mine show as much as I can, and I actually add more sometimes because I like having a lot of freckles. This trend isn't doing a lot different than what I normally do, because I don't use a lot of full coverage stuff anyways, because I don't like the way it looks on me. So I stick to more minimal makeup anyways, so I'm not really doing too much different with this. I'm just making a couple changes. For contour, I'm using the NYX Wonder Stick, and some people do a lot more on their contour to add more of a bronzy skin tone. I'm not gonna do that because I don't really like having super dark contour all over my face. I don't think I do it very well, so I'm not gonna do that. I'll probably just add more bronzer. The brush I'm using is a JS3 contour brush. There are a lot of makeup trends going on TikTok. Of course, like it's based on your For You page, and a lot of my For You page is makeup, because that's what I do and that's what I look up to keep up with what's going on social media. But there are a lot of trends coming out. So there's the latte trend, which is just like really bronzy skin, light makeup, more natural tones, like a more natural summery look. Then there was another one that I think Hailey Bieber, I'm not the biggest fan of Hailey Bieber just because of all of the controversy that's coming out with her. But she, I don't know if it started with her or if she just did it, but she did the strawberry makeup trend, which I haven't really looked into that one very much because I just started seeing it. The latte trend was the one that's really been going all over my For You page at the moment, so that's why I'm doing it. But there was the strawberry trend, and then there was a butterfly trend, which that one has passed. I've already done a butterfly eyeshadow. I thought that one was fun to do because that's something I've never done before. Not very good at liquid eyeliner, so I wanted to try it and like challenge myself. But another trend that I also saw, there was one more. I listed them before this video so that I could talk about them. And so there was the strawberry one, the butterfly one, the latte one, oh, the Coca-Cola. So this girl, she's on TikTok, her name is Bex with like a fairy. She did a Coca-Cola makeup trend, which I didn't really see much of it. It was just like a transition to it, and she had posted it and like labeled it in the video. So I didn't really look that one up very much either. These are just trends that I happen to see when looking for trends. So I am gonna skip a step. So something I normally would do is do a cream blush, but there's a lot of people doing the latte trend that don't do a blush. There are some that do, so if you wanna do the blush, like more than welcome to do it, but a lot of people are not doing blush, so I'm gonna try it differently because I always do blush, so I want to try not doing blush and kind of see what the end result's gonna be. So I am gonna be skipping a step. I'm gonna go ahead and set my creams with the e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Setting Mist that I always use. For setting powder, I'm using the L'Oreal Paris Hydra Perfect setting powder, and this is in the shade Translucent. I'm not gonna have to use a lot of this because I didn't use a lot of cream products. So I'm only gonna just use this a little bit to set the concealer. For bronzer, I'm gonna use the same butter bronzer that I used on my eyelid to bronze up my skin. And I'm just gonna build this up slowly because I tend to just do a basic bronzer just to lighten up, to give some more color back to my skin. So I'll probably build it up slowly just to make sure I'm not doing too much. The brush I'm using is just like a e.l.f. highlighting brush. It's like really small and it helps me be a little bit more precise. So I like using this brush because I can just get right where I want it and then kind of fluff it out. Something else that's coming up with these trends that are coming out that people are doing and like repeating is a lot of people in the comments are getting frustrated because I guess like a lot of like people that are like closer to 30 have already seen these trends before, and then people that are like in the early 20s are redoing them and like rebranding them, I guess. And some people are getting irritated about it because they're like, everybody's just doing the same thing over and over again and then just putting a new name to it. I'm not really for sure what people are referring to. I thought I saw somewhere in somebody's comments that they named it something else. But now that it's called the latte trend, like it's become popular again. And I'm not really for sure why it really matters, and it just makes me laugh because I'm like, all makeup is like repeats of like other makeup, like things coming together from different styles, different people, and just like doing it over and over again. It's all makeup is. Makeup has been around for thousands of years. Like things that we do now, somebody probably did like hundreds of years ago, just differently and like with different products. And like I don't really understand the point of getting mad about it. Just like have fun with it and like do it if you want to do it, and like if you don't want to do it, like don't do it. Like let people do whatever they want and like rebrand it. Like it's really not that big of a deal. I just think it's fun to try. I totally forgot to add freckles, so I'm gonna do that really quick. I usually do that before I set my face. I'm just gonna set these with some setting powder really quick. So because I did skip the cream blush step, I am doing a powder blush, but because I don't have like a nice bronzy cream blush, I only have pink cream blushes. I do have this Morphe blush palette, and there's a shade in here that I will never use on a normal day because I'm very light skin tone. I feel like this palette is for all skin tones, so like I feel like this dark is in here maybe for like darker skin tones. So I'm actually gonna try and use this dark shade because it's a very pretty like brown shade. It's called Ego. I'm gonna try a little bit of it and see what it does. The brush I'm gonna use is a BS Small Face Angled brush, and I'm really just going to pick it up with like the pointed part, just so I can control where it's going. And I'm just going to dab this on the high point of my cheek. This is either just going to add more bronziness to my skin, or I don't really know what I expect it to do. It's a really pretty shade though. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it just adding more bronze? I don't know. It looks like it has like a little bit of like a peachiness to it. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if it's adding more bronze to it or if it is adding like kind of like a blush tone. For my under eye, I'm gonna start with that bronze shade that I use, the Sunkissed bronzer, and I'm just going to brush that with a 562 brush under my eyelid. The next shade I'm going to use with the 562 brush is the Buns shade, and I'm going to stay on the outer half of my eye and then connect it up to what I did on the top. Off camera, I did my waterline. I used the Kylie Cosmetics lipstick in the shade True Brown K, and then for mascara, I used the Benefit mascara. They're real. So I did say that I wanted to try the latte makeup trend because some of the factors that go into doing that look is what I already do for my makeup anyways. Some things that I'm not a big fan of because I don't normally do it. The highlighter, I usually go for lighter like white and like silver shades. I don't really go for brown eyeshadow. So something I'm going to do as well is the highlighter. I'm going to use a brown highlighter, and I really don't know how I feel about it because I do like a bright highlighter and I feel like browns aren't as bright. But I am going to be using the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Brain Freeze palette, and I'm going to use this shade called Cocky. This is just a shade that I don't normally go for. Using a 213 brush, I'm going to take this shade and put that in my inner corner. I have used this shade before. It is a very pretty bronzy shade. I think I've just only used it like once or twice, but it is a very pretty shade. And then I'm also going to put this on my brow bone. For my nose highlight, it's gonna go right on the bridge and then on the tip of my nose. And then blending it out with my finger. Using a 510 brush, I'm going to put this on the high point of my cheek and then connect it into my brow bone. And I'm not trying to use too much because I do want to build this up just to make sure that I'm not adding too much since I don't normally use these shades. Now that I have this on, I'm not mad about it. It's actually like really pretty and it goes really well with the color scheme. This is why I like doing trends because it kind of it like gets you to do different things that you don't normally do. And then you might end up liking it and maybe using that for like your everyday stuff, like adding in new things. Now that my face is done, before I do lipstick, I'm going to set it, and I'm actually going to use this MAC Fix Plus. It's kind of like a gold and it has shimmers in it, so I feel like it will match. So I'm going to use this to set everything. For lip liner, I'm going to be using the Morphe lip liner in the shade Sugar Pie. And it really seems that a lot of the people that are doing the latte trend, they do a more natural lip shade. They just do like a liner and then they blend it out and then do a gloss. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to fill in the corners. Then blending that in with my finger. Now this is a darker lip shade than my lip color. I like a darker liner shade and then like lighting it as you go in. So that's why I went with a darker shade. For lip gloss, I'm going to be using a Mary Kay lip gloss, and this is in the shade Beach Bronze. And this has like bronzy shimmers in it, but it goes on like more clear. So I think it adds a nice clear and like bronze at the same time. So that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I like hearing y'all's feedback, so please comment down below with anything you'd like to tell me or any future videos you'd like to see. Until next time, bye.